foreign nationals are being held in South African prisons past their release dates due to the lockdown regulations. Prisoners say officials have told them they are not going anywhere until after the COVID-19 pandemic. Some are still in jail months after completing their sentences or after being paroled. Let's get more on this particular story now by Correctional Services Deputy Commissioner Logan Maistry. Deputy Commissioner, thank you for joining us this morning. The foreign nationals that are being held in prison after their parole dates or after they have served the sentences, why are they still in prison?
Good morning to you, good morning to your viewers, and many thanks for the opportunity. That is not correct. You would understand that we live in a constitutional democracy where the rule of law is supreme. To be keeping inmates in custody beyond their sentence expiry date is illegal and unconstitutional. Now, what has happened, you would understand that we currently have the global pandemic of the coronavirus, which has restricted movement, particularly here in South Africa. And you would understand that we've been under lockdown through different levels, currently in level 2. And so that has restricted movement across the country, across our borders. And so in terms of the Correctional Services Act and in terms of the Immigration Act, depending on the type of foreign nationals, because you will understand that you have different types of foreign nationals. You have those who are legally in the country with proper documentation, and then you also have illegal foreign nationals. So once their sentence expiry dates have ended, they become what we call deportees, and the responsibility of the Department of Home Affairs. So because movement has been restricted to be able to protect people from the coronavirus, in terms of the Immigration Act, temporary detention facilities have been declared in the Department of Correctional Services, which is the responsibility of the Department of Home Affairs. And in the time that movement was restricted, those whose sentences they have expired were kept in the temporary detention facilities, but since they have been deported accordingly by the Department of Home Affairs. So this was not a measure to go against the rights of inmates. It was a measure to actually protect them during the time when movement was restricted.
So is the Department of Home Affairs actually coming to collect as you mentioned, the foreign nationals who are here illegally? Have they started doing that now?
Yes, but they've always been collecting them. Like I said, because we want to minimize movement, what we did is we declared, in terms of legislation, temporary detention facilities on the premises of the Department of Correctional Services. And these were not inmates because they could not be considered as inmates because they had completed their sentences, so they were the Department of Home Affairs responsibility. But it was just a temporary measure to restrict movement and to protect everyone from the coronavirus. But that process is moving accordingly because it is illegal to be keeping inmates in our facilities beyond their sentence expiry dates.
So in those temporary facilities that you talk about, are they still treated as inmates? Are they, clothed still as inmates? What happens in those temporary facilities?
No, they are not treated as inmates. They are treated as members of the public. They're not wearing any uniform pertaining to the Department of Correctional Services, but they are treated according to Department of Home Affairs prescripts, and they are the responsibility of the Department of Home Affairs. And those temporary detention facilities have been legislated accordingly in terms of the Immigration Act.
Now, while I still have you, Deputy Commissioner, the COVID-19 obviously has affected the correctional services. Where are you at the present moment? Is everything under control?
Well, at this stage, the figures that have been recorded indicate that less than 9.5% of active cases remain in the Department of Correctional Services. To date, we have recorded a recovery rate of almost 90%. So we have approximately 200 inmates and 400 officials with confirmed cases. And in terms of inmates, that records for less than 0.17% of the total inmate population. Regrettably, we have 103 deaths of 60 officials and 43 inmates, but at least 90% recovery rate has been encouraging, and we will continue to do everything possible to ensure that the number of active cases is reduced. but the more than 90% recovery rate has been encouraging for the Department of Correctional Services.
What basis are you taking? Are family and friends and are visitors allowed now to come see their family in prison?
Well, at the different levels, we've been adapting our risk adjustment strategy, and currently the department is reviewing the risk adjustment strategy, and the department is considering allowing certain visits under strict conditions and in adherence to the COVID-19 protocols. And the risk adjustment strategy is currently being reviewed, and it is expected that the department will make announcements in this regard during the course of the week.